uh, Dela Tumbi there at the Eagle Square. We shall get back to them as they said when events begin to unfold again, especially when Mr. President comes back to the Eagle Square. In the meantime, we shall continue this coverage here right in the studio with Dr. Umar Jibril Gwandu, Special Assistant of Media and Public Relations, Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, and Minister of Justice. Dr. Umar, welcome to the NTA studios.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let me start by asking you your assessment of the goings on at the Eagle Square. I know you must have been part of it. At least you must have really gotten around and then seen exactly how the whole thing went. Give us your assessment.
Yeah, I can say it's a very impressive performance and a welcome development. But also it's a manifest defect. We can see in the processes, manifest defect in human legislations.
Manifest defect.
Manifest defect
I like
in human
that word. Manifest
legislations.
defect.
Yes. For instance, the person that has been agreed to be the national chairman is a serving senator. And we have also in the list of those that
before we get into the details of this,
yes. manifest defect in human legislature.
Now, before we get into that,
yes.
I would want you to give us your personal assessment. Before the convention, yes. there were lots of stories, lots of rumors, lots of so many positive and negative statements about whether it will hold, it will not hold, how it happened, how the president came in, and how he was able to mend the forces, bring all these forces together.
I think all these are issues that have been talked about.
Yeah.
I want to bring a new dimension to it. For instance, now we have a law that is being contentious in the Electoral Act, the amended Electoral Act 2022, particularly Section 84, subsection 12 of the Act, that talks about no political appointee shall either be voted or voted for, shall either be allowed to vote or be voted for in any Congress or convention of any political party in the termination of any election. This law seeks to exclude political appointees and disenfranchise them from their right to vote and right to be voted for, and allowing the elected officers, what I mean the members of the National Assembly, the governors, and all those that are elected, to contest whatever position they like without resigning. That is why we have a serving senator who has not resigned from his seat to become the national chairman of the party. And we have also in the list a number of such personalities that are elected. So the question is, now, is he a senator representing people of his constituency now, or a chairman of a political party? Will he resign to take up this appointment, or he will combine the two? Remember, the chairman of the extraordinary committee of this convention was also a governor, or is still a governor. He didn't resign. So the elected officers have the impunity. They can combine positions and work concurrently and simultaneously. Now, their friend, an elected officer, a governor, is a former chairman. And now a friend, an elected officer, coming out to be the chairman. The issue is, will a political appointee be given such an opportunity to do the same thing? We don't know. And now that he is the chairman, will he resign as a senator to continue and concentrate as the chairman of the party? And will the election be held as a by-election to occupy the position that he has left? And the person that will be elected, despite the resources, the enormity of the stress, the industry, the commitment from the all stakeholders, including the security, INEC, and the cost implication of that, will the person be a senator for just 10 months because there is going to be an election in February? Will he continue to be a senator because he has just joined as a fresh member of the legislative assembly?
These are issues that will later unfold as they progress as a party, and of course as executives of the party. All these are going to come out. So when we look at the convention itself, generally.
Yes. Again, now that is the issue we are talking about. Whether there is these things. Now, if a member of the National Assembly becomes a minister, he is automatically going to resign and concentrate as a minister. Now, what if such a person becomes a party
But
chairman or a
Dr.
leader
Umar,
of a
Jibril,
party.
these
Yes.
are issues that are yet to be resolved.
Yes.
And then I think we should let them be. I mean, we should allow them to be resolved first before we
That
look
is
at
what
that,
I
because
mean.
they themselves know the implications of their actions, given the
That is
fact
what
that
I
the
mean
rules
by
are there.
saying manifest defects in human legislation. Now, assuming we agree that all those political appointees will not be allowed to participate, possibly because of the possibility of them using their own position to influence or confer undue advantage on them. Will it not be the same thing for all those elected officers? They will use the same positions they have, they will use the same resources at their disposal to confer undue advantage for them. The good or the right thing, in my own view, to be done is everyone should calm down and
But
we have fresh
since
legislation.
you say it's a manifest defect in human legislature,
Yes.
that's accepted.
Yes.
It's a defect, and we're all humans who are more or less not perfect generally.
Yeah.
The only perfect thing and perfect man is God, of course. But when we look at this whole situation, we shouldn't be dwelling on that so much, in the sense that these are people that have known the defect already. They do the law, and they make the laws generally, especially those in the National Assembly. And of course, some of these laws go and come back. And of course, they are being contested. But there is also a difference between those elected and even those appointed. When you look at it, there's a big wall between the two.
Now, the bone of contention is also that among those that have been either elected or they reach consensus are those political appointees. We have people appointed as commissioners in their own various states. We have possibly commissioners and attorney generals of their various states. We may have commissioners of health from various states serving or going to serve as members of this National Executive Council of a political party. The question is, have they resigned before they contested these positions?
Dr. Gwandu, if you insist on this,
yes,
being appointed and being elected are two different issues.
That's sure.
If you are appointed, I mean, at the whims and caprices of the boss, you can leave. But if you are, elected, I mean, there is a process to be followed before you are removed.
I think it's clear.
So these are two different issues. We cannot just really join the two and then say it's
In section 151, subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I mean the 1999 Constitution as amended, it says that any person that has been appointed will continue to serve up to the time that is bearing all possibilities. Maybe even somebody who is elected, there is recall. It's and even those also in the civil service, there are queries, there is sack and the rest. The person will continue to serve till the expiry of the tenure of the person that appointed him.
But it's the expiry of the tenure.
The expiry of the tenure.
Yeah.
So that means the elected, the appointed will serve the same time, the same tenure.
Exactly.
And the virtue that you have been elected does not make you something special. Yeah. Because according to section 147, subsection 5 of the Constitution, that those that are qualified to be nominated or appointed as ministers should be the one that are qualified to serve in election. So it means they have the same qualification, they are to serve the same tenure. But why making discriminatory and laws that are not have been universal applicability? If we are to make laws, we say all persons, all Nigerians, all citizens, every person is, these are how we make laws, but not making certain discriminatory, exclusively.
But Dr. Umar, I don't seem really to buy wholeheartedly these ideas you're putting forward, in the sense that when you look at the two, as I said earlier on, appointed and elected, these are two different issues, and these are two different positions that have different processes of getting into the office and, of course, leaving the office. Mandates are there for elected, elected officials, and, of course, at the whims and caprices of the board that appointed you, the appointed person can just leave. But all the same, when you look at that, and then try as much as possible to balance, what is happening at the moment, we've already agreed that we are just elected. I mean, the new executive council members and those that have been elected anyway at the moment, time will really tell exactly what will be the issue. And you've already rounded it up by saying that it's, a manifest defect in human legislature. So there's no problem with that. We look at it and then it's an unfolding story and we keep following that. What do you now think? The new executive are now on board.
Yeah.
All right. And now they may be sworn in any moment from now. And then after that, we'll now have a complete executive council of the APC preparatory for the 2023 elections. What do you think about the new ESCO?
It's a new development, and it's interesting that we are going to have a combination of those who do not resign and of those who are acting as political appointees combined together, probably to bring forward their own various experiences, and also there is possibility of a lot of litigations that may come up regarding the combination, and they have a lot of expectations on them to leave for the Nigerians credible or usher in, because they are not responsible for the election, but usher in credible candidates that will possibly help Nigeria and consolidate on the gains that Nigerians have reaped from this present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, especially in the areas of security challenges, the areas of the fight against corruption, and the areas of economic enhancement.
I wouldn't want us to say we're done with the issue of the president's role in trying to get these things or bring this very stage, very process to
No,
this
he
stage.
acted as a father and as a leader who also, when he finds problem in his house, he tried to solve the problem using all the experiences, the wisdom, the sagacity, the legal framework, the powers conferred in him. And Mr. President deserves commendation for what he has done.
Now, do you see all those who have really accepted to the consensus issue really carrying this whole promise to the end?
This is politics.
Yeah.
People have various views. They have various perspective and understanding. We can only see what is manifest. We cannot see whether they voluntarily decide to resign, or it is out of their own interest, or it is possibly because of certain considerations, certain political calculations, and if maybe some of these, their expectations are not met, whether they may do some things. So I'm not holding brief on any of them, but we also appreciate what is apparent, what is clear, what is manifest, that they have accepted this in good faith. And we hope that it is in good faith and good thing will have to come. We pray for that.
Looking at what really happened, just build up to this convention and down to this time we're talking at the moment and at which the convention is, do you see lessons for other political parties from the APC's convention?
Sure, there are a lot of lessons for people to learn, including the democratic nature of it, in the sense that it gives room for various options. We can see there are options of election, there are options of consensus. And it is completely different from making it one straitjacket unilateral approach of so that is variety, that shows the beauty of diversity, the issue of having multifaceted dimension. So this is one of the lessons probably others may learn. And also the speed at which things have been done. Instead of wasting time, wasting a lot of energy, a lot of resources, the fact that it is done swiftly is also a lesson to learn, instead of having time to keep on contentions. And the issue that Mr. President says is also decide to step down, should be giving back their forms and fees for the forms they purchased.
The refund of
it shows that the party is not after their money. The party is after development, after progress. Otherwise, in all the forms we buy, and even school forms, they say it's not refundable, application form and the rest, you begin to wonder whether it is the objective is for you to be served. If you have not been served, why giving your funds? So payment before service or payment for the service. So this is a very good development to learn. And the fact that the Nigerian public, who otherwise were people were made to believe that they lost confidence in the present administration. I see people using various means of transportation. I do not mean air transportation or road. Some came via camel, some came via many methods to show that they still believe in this administration.
Yeah.
And you can see the sacrifice people were able to make. They sleep sometimes outside their normal routine of sleeping places.
When I was coming in this morning, you know, almost like 2-3 kilometers away from the Eagle Square, you can still feel the aura. You see the sign, you see, you know, convention really, because so many things are there to tell you that something really happened here.
Yeah, and another issue, the issue of patriotism. Patriotism, the Nigerians demonstrated in this act is a welcome development. I don't want to say it's unprecedented, but it's outstandingly remarkable. The patriotism demonstrated. And I heard the leaders of the party are saying they change, they increase the voting, the number of the members of the party from 11 million to 41 million Nigerians. Those who are having the capacity to register. But I believe there are so many people who do not want to be associated possibly, apparently, manifestly as members of the party. Or these are those, not the voting populace, those who accepted to be members of the party. So you can see 41 million is a very big number.
Now, let's look at, before he's sworn in anyway, the new chairman of the APC. Talking about Abdullahi Adam, Senator Abdullahi Adamu. In your own assessment and in your own, judgment, given why he was asked to be the consensus candidate, and given the fact that looking at his own track record and things like that, do you see him really taking this whole party to victory in 2023?
I already stated my point that the contention is whether he will continue to be a serving senator and also a chairman of a political party at the same time.
At the moment, he's the chairman of the party. We're looking at him as the chairman of the party, not a senator.
I'm looking at him being in the National Assembly, making legislations for the entire nation, and running up to be also a chairman of a political party, and combining this without allowing the pressure.
I'm just trying
of the two conflicting positions.
I'm just trying
but despite all these things, he's a gentleman. He's a gentleman, an elderly man for that matter, a statesman who acquired experience from various disciplines. I mean, as a former governor, as a senator, as in so many various fora. And we also see him speaking on national issues at the National Assembly, making presentations in the interest of the nation. We believe he will carry along all these noble qualities of him in shaping the affairs of this political party. Possibly that are the reasons why the whole party tilted towards him.
More than 90% or so of the positions of the APC were, gotten through consensus. And of course, just a few of them, which of course the results are trickling in at the moment for the few of them that have been elected positions. This issue of consensus and election, given the disparity between the numbers, don't you think this might have left the delegates that have come, all right, a little bit disappointed about why they're here having to come not to vote, and then see themselves as going back just as people have just come to be observers?
There are many dimensions to a single thing.
Right.
Yes. And the fact that there are elections, you already know, and there are consensus. So those who elect also participate in the election process.
Yeah.
And the delegate that came, they also participate in the election of all these that were not on consensus. So we have a combination of consensus and election. So we cannot say that people are not feeling dissatisfied that they didn't vote. One, it's not about voting alone. It's unification that is also being brought. The entire Nigeria or of this political affiliation converge in the same place to display their own unity, commonness, and togetherness. This is another thing. And re-establishment of bond of relationship. Those who come from far and near, in spite of this previous lockdown, they couldn't meet. Now they will be able to meet. And you are aware, it's not only voting they came for. They will sit down and strategize for other future engagements. So it is not.
What do you mean strategize?
Yeah,
It's a
like now you
convention,
have
people
said.
have come.
Yeah, like now you have said, the new executive has been will be inaugurated. Okay, what are their mandates? What are their expectations? How they want to ensure that the party remain as the ruling party, and who are to be co-opted to enhance the fortunes of the party. These are things that they will have to deliberate on, and possibly these delegates being politically conscious and active Nigerians will be the one to determine. Instead of calling them on phone or organizing meetings via the internet, they will have time to see it in their own various places, whether their own state liaison offices or whatsoever. They recalculate and recalibrate to see how they will continue the journey.
Okay, now when we look at the smaller parties in this country, which are so many, in the talk list of the PDP, APGA, and then some few other ones, we would really see a situation whereby the smaller parties may be at a kind of a crossroad, looking at what really happened at the Eagle Square yesterday and today, and given the fact that they are really small in number and of course small in size and may want to really get across, and the conventions must have to hold. What other specific lessons would there be for especially the tiny parties, smaller parties from this APC convention?
I don't want to believe there are tiny or smaller political parties, although there may be political parties that have more number of members than others. All have the same equal chance, because at a time when you have maybe a president from a political party, you may have a governor from a different political party, and member state of assembly who is not among these three parties. So, and a party may be having strength in one zone and may have strength in other zones. So all the parties, I think by even the National Broadcasting Code, that they should be given equal treatment and equal airtime in their coverage of their programs. So what I'm seeing, and you remember, these the APC is an amalgam of these parties that you consider to be smaller parties. So probably some of the lessons that might be learned is the issue of coming together, is the issue of unity, is the issue of boosting strength. And again, another thing that can be learned is how to organize things. Okay. If a bigger, what else you say, a bigger party with much number of people, which is likely to have multitude of challenges and problems, will have its own in a smooth manner. So it means those that have less number of membership would likely to get it in a more swifter and more possibly efficient way. Probably it may not take the longer time, the longer, the much resources committed, and so many other things. So if the lessons, you say, we learn from our experience, and we can also learn from the experience of other people.
That's what we're saying here, really.
So part of the thing that they will learn is in these things is possibly every political party has its own blueprint, but they are what they call manifesto. So each one will see which one it can copy or it can learn from other. I believe all are doing it in the interest of the nation. So whatever you find useful, beneficial, and outstanding, you just pick it up, not necessarily from the bigger party, even from the smaller parties, you may learn certain lessons.
On a final note, Dr. Umar Gwandu, you are a legal practitioner?
No, I'm not.
You are not?
Yes.
And you're taking from a very serious legal points of view at that moment, really.
Okay, fine.
Okay, okay. On a final note, really, let's have your last words on this convention. Give us, a word or two, all right, especially to the delegates that have come, that may be on their way any moment soon after the inauguration and things like
We
that.
appreciate the demonstration of commitment, the demonstration of enthusiasm, the demonstration of patriotism by these various members of this political party to come all the way from various places to achieve this common goal. And if we are to do similar things in our greater national assignments, we surely achieve our objective. We can sit down and iron out challenges of our environment and sit down together in order to solve this problem. But surely the combination of elected officers, the combination of politically appointed who have not resigned from their political offices or from their elected offices will be an issue that will keep reverberating. And I'm sure because the members of the National Assembly are going to appeal, it may probably be part of the issues to be discussed. Whether if this continue to happen, it means Section 84, subsection 12 of this Electoral Act has been rendered invalid. And if we are making laws not to be abided by, it is better not to make them.
Okay.
How to make these laws? It is to make them to have universal applicability and appeal.
All right. Thank you so very much, Dr. Umar Gwandu, Special Assistant on Media and Public Relations, Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. It's our pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And we thank you so much. We're really continuing our discussion on the coverage of APC 2022 convention. We'll now take a break. We'll be back in a moment with more on this as events unfold at the